Hello, Masters Rowers. What's good? This is the Joe Row Again experience, where we discuss all matters and things related to Masters rowing for the Row Again Master and the new to rowing Masters. We unapologetically feature some of the most opinionated and partial experts to bring you the things you want to hear about Masters rowing, where fact-checking is for woke pussies. Our whole show is brought to you by the latest in AI technology. I am not real. Welcome to the Joe Row Again experience. Thank you for all the viewers that made my first video in the series goes viral. 8 views in 1 week. On my quest to continually enlighten my knowledge about the art of rowing, I recently went to a seminar about coaching masters. One of the presenters of the sessions shared what he really found great about masters rowing. He likes the camaraderie and socializing, likes the challenge of competition, and likes winning. Okay, great, me too. This should be an interesting session. Tell me more. As the talk progressed into training and preparation, he casually mentioned that he pulled something like a 605 on a 2K erg test. Maybe I had wax in my hairy ear holes, but I'm pretty sure he nonchalantly said 605 on a 2K erg test, and the guy's like 60 years old. Well, no wonder he likes the competition. When he can rip chain like that, he would make most university varsity crews, and he's 60 years old. He's a freak of nature. Here I am, training my ass off. Only to meet the impossible task of competing against a beast like this on the weekend regattas. I was destroyed, demoralized. I was ready to quit. On the other hand, I guess these elite masters have as much a right to have an outlet to row as an average row again masters or new to masters. To be more philosophical about it, maybe we even serve a higher purpose by giving these high-end athletes a sense of satisfaction and by giving them someone to beat. As Aristotle said,
"At the intersection where your gifts, talents, and abilities meet a human need, therein you will discover your purpose."
the sum of my mediocre gifts, talents, and abilities mean my purpose is to let Andrew fill his sock drawer with medals? Well then, who am I to deny him that glory? Then I started thinking, what if... Now, there's one thing I've learned as a sexagenarian. I've come to realize that nothing ever good happens when I start thinking. The good news is, in 2024, there's another way to succeed as the less genetically gifted. And I'm not talking about a diet of chicken and brown rice. Today, we have a special episode, the do's and don'ts of doping for masters.
You will find me in the club, bottle full of liquid nitrogen, breaking the ice when I mix it with hydrogen. A rollie in my mouth and a bucket of Vicodin, and my brain gone south and I'm losing my sight again. Drugs, say no to drugs, fuck it. Do all the drugs and make love, fuck it. Take it all the way, put a needle in your vein and collapse in a pile on the rug. Love.
I know there still is a certain stigma attached to doping, but as a 61-year-old, I'm already popping pills every day. It's a slippery slope. What's the big deal? If I'm taking Crestor, then why not EPO? If I'm taking baby aspirin, whoa. Why not some roids? And Cialis. Wait, I think that is performance enhancing. Did you hear this tragic story of the rower who fractured his penis? I didn't even know that was a thing. He was a recovering Viagra addict. He broke it during the phase 1 of his recovery. Firstly, to get some perspective, we should tip our hat to some famous dopers. For me, one of my favorite and probably the most famous dopers has to be Lance Armstrong. You've got to admire Lance. A true outsider in the European-dominated cycling scene. Got cancer, lost a nut, had brain surgery, chemo, came back, and devastated the field. He used the loss of his triathlon Ironman muscle mass to be more suited for cycling and climbing. He won all those Tour de France maillot jaune, swearing up and down he wasn't doping while wearing those yellow wristbands. When he finally was exposed, he did a heartfelt interview on Oprah. Recently, he has a star part in Adam Sandberg's Tour de Pharmacy.
Took drug abuse to a level never seen before or thereafter, creating Superman in Superman spandex.
Before anyone even got on a bike, you knew they were all on drugs. I mean, look at Gustav. I think I'm getting a text. It's just my lawyer, just making sure you guys are keeping me in the dark on all this. He's really...
Ben Johnson is another of the great all-time dopers. It was so exciting when he won. What a total beast. The pride of Canada and Jamaica. He set a world record while winning gold. Then he got busted for using veterinary steroids. Now it is acknowledged that every single one in that 100 meter was juiced, including that American hotshot Carl Lewis. Lesser known, perhaps, but a cult favorite of the GOAT doping club was Rob Regliati, an underground legend of the doping world. Crushed it on the snowboarding GS course and wins gold, then gets stripped of his medal for having THC in his bloodstream. Claims it was because his buddies were hot boxing in the gondola. Then the governing bodies realized weed is not going to help his performance in any way at all and give him back his medal.
My name is Ross Rebliati, and I'm the 1998 gold medalist for giant slalom and snowboarding. I got the munchies right now.
Today, Rob still snowboards and has parlayed his doping in an impressive weed business. In my books, that's a doping success story of the highest order. An honorable mention has to go to Toaster Boy, proving, I don't know, look at his fucking legs. It goes to show with a lot of work and perseverance, maybe a little extra help, you could actually make toast during a blackout. And we have to salute 3 times world's strongest man and behemoth. Is that how you pronounce it? Behemoth. Brian Shaw, standing at 6'8" and weighing 430 pounds. He set a world record on the 100 meter distance on the erg with a split of 104. Could be natty. I wonder what strongman culture is like when it comes to supplements. Better check your shell weight rating before you ask him to join your club sprints, though. Maybe you'd be better off with 3 lightweights. Now, if we all just spin our boat, this brings us back to rowing, and specifically to silken lawmen. The stock answer for every doper when they get caught is, it's just cough medicine I took by mistake. Firstly, I know this because she's my hero. And she wouldn't let us down. Secondly, she is tough AF. Getting bronze in the Olympics when only 10 weeks earlier her leg muscle was ripped off the bone when a German pair collided with her in training. If you study some grainy footage from the early 90s, it's obvious she's no doper. Everyone else in 1992 was rowing composite boats and oars. Silken said, fuck that, and stuck with the original carbon fiber. Wood. Yep, wooden oars, wooden boat. There's no way she would dope and compete with So Masters rowers, you don't need to thank me, but I have done the hard work for you. Through extensive research and testing, I have put together a holistic doping strategy that, combined with your winter training program, will take your rowing to a new high. Yes, I also recommend recreational drugs for the best impact. Rowing is a sport that requires both endurance and strength. This simplifies things a lot. It pretty much doesn't matter which PEDs you take. I suggest take everything you can get your hands on. There are, however, 2 that should form the foundation of your drug program: steroids for strength and EPO for endurance. I would suggest starting with high doses of anabolic steroids. It greatly helps with strength, capacity to train, and most importantly, makes you angry as fuck. Do not underestimate the psychological benefit of anger in racing. Once you're on the roids, keep taking them until you have more acne than a 15-year-old and your facial features begin to contort like a sockeye salmon on its dying spawning run. As a senior citizen, doctors are way more likely to prescribe you a steroid. Just fake arthritis or lupus. Probably you have arthritis or lupus, even better. If you prefer, take your dog to the vet and say, Coxie has inflammatory bowel disease. I feel much less embarrassed about sourcing my PEDs from a doggy doctor, and the roids are the best. Just ask Ben. EPO, however, is the one you really need to get your hands on. And here's my pro hack. When you combine EPO with altitude training, the increase in blood cells will carry so much oxygen you could outlive Bezos and Branson on Mars just by holding your breath. If you can afford and find a training camp on an alpine lake in the Himalayas, knock yourself out. For high altitude training, I train in my loft. So you've made the leap and you're doping like a tweaker under the Lincoln Street Bridge. Congratulations. At first, no one's going to suspect a thing or care. However, once you start winning, these genetic cheats might think something is up. So how do you hide it? What you need for this are some really good quality freezer bags. They serve two purposes. The first is to save that high altitude EPO rich blood for transfusion. The second is in case you need urine samples after the race. Now the bladder one is rarely needed unless you are competing in international competitions. Fortunately, as a masters rower, you have a great place to conceal your baggie of piss. Inside your Depends. Important note, this must be done before you start juicing. Finally, a few bits of advice. I personally stay away from all those fatty drugs like strychnine, cocaine, chloroform, aspirin, horse ointment. The only exception is weed. It might help with branding after your post-rowing career. Don't take over-the-counter cold medicines and the like. Not that they won't help you. It's just very lame to get busted for taking cough syrup. There are also more exotic forms, like mechanical doping, but those require a bit more ingenuity to fit that Tesla motor attached to your stroke coach impeller. It's way harder to get past inspections, super hard to carry your boat to the dock. And finally, there's gender doping, but it seems to be even more controversial than in 1976. I'd leave that one alone and fly under the radar. If you do get caught, embrace the accusations. Hell yeah, I'm doping. I'm doping like a fucking champ. No one's gonna believe you. After all, you're an old masters rower at the head of the Frisky Beaver. Then you act sorry and pretend it was your hemorrhoid cream. Write a book that won't sell and go on Faster's Masters for an interview. It's not Oprah, but it still would be fun. Is doping wrong? Will you just get over yourself? Swallow all your morals. They are a losing man's philosophy. You want to win or what? Finally, my mom always told me, life is not fair, so get used to it.